I'm a massive speed enthusiast. I've been, big admirer of flashy sports cars since I was young, and I've developed this passion as I grew up. Told my father to, buy me a sports car in order for me to be able to showcase my talents. I drive around in circuits, even though the circuits are not very arousing as much as driving on the street in free roam. I do race with my friends, and whoever is daring enough to take me on. I do a lot of drifting, two wheel. Um, love racing and love competing. Competitive racing is the most important thing to me. I've never been in accidents. I've never even been in close calls. I'm just I'm that good. People call me reckless, and to that I say they're scared, they're terrified of the rush of adrenaline that comes along with racing. And it's just it's a fantastic feeling. If you had an you might be scared in the beginning. You might be a little bit hesitant and nervous. Believe me, that's a process, part of everybody's what they go through. And repeating that and going at very high speeds, you will enjoy it. You'll find a lot of passion. Like you'll become passionate about speeding. You'll love it. You'll love competitive racing, and it's really at high speeds that one really becomes connected with his inner self. He starts being in the zone. you know and two wheels is an experience I would recommend to anybody. It's just an amazing experience.
Speeding in Qatar started in the early 2000s to 2001, and this was due to people having a large increase in their income and allowing them to invest in new fancier cars to use. Also, when Qatar took on the Asian Games in 2006, the country decided to improve its streets and so designed streets that were straight and long in length, and this gave people space and length to race without having the problems of slowing down to turn a certain direction. This also led to an increase in accidents, and the traffic mortality rate increased drastically in a short period of time. And as a result, radars were established among the streets of Doha, but this did not stop racers as they would figure out the defective radars and spread the word amongst their community. It was a dark time for Qatar in 2006 to 2007, as in 2007, almost two-thirds of all trauma-related deaths in Qatar were caused by road accidents, and in 2006, traffic-related deaths rates in Qatar reached an all-time high of 26 per 100,000 people. When compared on the global scale, Qatar falls short on the list, but when taking in consideration the population at the time, it greatly affected the community. The traffic department knew that there was no way to stop the young reckless drivers, and so designed an outlet for them in Lusail, where they were able to race in a gated area with a heavy safety regulation. Although the requirements for driving was not easy, as it did not allow everyone who wanted to partake in the sport, and so young reckless drivers decided to drive and speed on the long road in Lusail, leading to the drag outlet, since it was empty majority of the time. With this, El Shimal Road and Lusail Road became the most popular roads for traffic mortality in Doha. Qatar has improved its ways in educating and raising awareness of speeding and highly targeted young high school teens who needed to be guided. The issue of speeding has improved, but it is still an existing problem, and many social media figures like Dr. Hamoud, who have a large following, especially within the young teens community, has spread awareness of speeding and its consequences by showcasing a hashtag called Tikfa la Tisra, which translated to I beg of you to not speed. Qatar is slowly improving its ways and behavior on the road, and this will hopefully become an issue of the past.
أنا شخص يعني من الطفولة أحب إني نفس ما تقول إني أحب السيارات وأحب السباقات وأحب التفحيط نفس ما يقولون. فمن الهواية كنت يعني نفس ما تقول أسرق موتر الوالد ولا موتر البيت وأروح أقعد ألعب فيه. فكنت يعني نفس ما تقول خلاص اللي ما صارت هبة الشباب إن كل واحد يروح الثانوية بسيارة وإنه يسرق الموتر يطلع فيه ومن هالسوالف يعني. فالربع اللي كانوا معاي يحبون نفس اللي أنا أحبه يعني السيارات والتسابق، وكنا نروح الحلبات ونطالع الناس شلون يفحطون ونحاول نقلدهم يعني. فمع مرور الوقت قمت نفس ما تقول خلاص انه صار عندي موتر حق استعراض، خلاص يعني اخذت لي موتر نفس ما تقول مزود الموتر حق لعبة الموتر. فطلعت انا ويا ربعي يوم من الايام ربعنا الروح بالروح يعني نفس ما تقول على موترين، كنا 4 2 في كل موتر، وكنا قاعد ندز على خط الشمال على قرابة 200 ولا شيء واحنا ندز، وانا كنت قاعد عبري ورفيجي اللي معاي حب انه شوي يمزح مع خوينا اللي كان في السيارة الثانية. بس كل اللي سواه انه لف السيارة شوي عليه، ورفيجنا نفس ما تقول من الارتباك ما عرف يتصرف وشاح على الموتر وانقلب.
It's back home it is dangerous. So, but here that's just the ordinary way of doing it. I got my license when I was 20, 21. I was kind of late. I failed my driving test many times, but finally I made it. So I've been driving for 27 years, and I've been driving in Doha for about 4 years. So, and driving is very different here. When we came here, you know, A&M has this information package and tells you like, okay, here's the etiquette of the road. And so it's very funny. So it explained to us how the roundabouts work, which I'm used to roundabouts in Europe. It turns out they work very differently here. So here it's like if you go off the roundabout, you have the right of way, which is kind of strange. And I had to get used to it. And in fact, my very first week, I was in an almost accident when I was in between two cars. One on my left decided to turn right, the one on my right decided to turn left. And I was in the middle and I wasn't sure what to do. And so I waited, and sure enough, they met in front of me. That was the first week. Let's see. Oh yeah, one of the interesting things was they taught us like, oh, when people are honking at you, it simply means that that they want to let you know that they're there. The same thing with flashing. It just means like it's not a sign of aggression. It says in the instructions. It's merely a way of like, I would like to pass. Would you please move over? But I've learned that no, that's not how it works, because if I honk and flash at someone, they get really mad. So driving here is very different. It has changed me. I was always a very, very laid-back driver back home. You stick by the rules. It's very disciplined in the Netherlands, and here it's a different kind of discipline. It's a social Darwinist kind of mentality on the road. It's like you show any sign of weakness, you're dead meat. You turn on your blinker, people just speed up so they won't let you in. I still use the blinker though, because I want people to know what I'm going to do, or at least plan on doing. And if they're going to be, then yeah, they may. And then I yell at them. I started swearing a lot more in the car. Blood pressure has gone up significantly. It spikes, during my commute to and from work. And I've adjusted. When I go back home, I remember the very first comment that my brother, well, it wasn't even a comment, but I was driving and I was doing some maneuvers that I'm used to doing here. And I remember looking at my brother and his eyes got really big. And I remember him saying, "Oh," and that's all he said. And then he said, "Yeah, your driving has changed." Yes.
اللي ممكن نشوفها الحين يعني مو بس الشباب، حتى البنات صاروا يسوقون بسرعة جنونية يعني. ما أعرف ليش، بس ما صاروا حتى يحاسبون حق اللي قدامهم يمين يسار، بس مو من الواحد يبي يتجاوز عشان يوصل حق المكان اللي هو يبيه. يعني ما يفكرون إذا مثلا السيارة الثانية فيها عوايل، فيها ناس تعبانين، ما يفكرون. فصراحة يعني بعد مع يعني الإرشادات المرور وهالأشياء والمخالفات اللي حطوها، يعني شوي حدت شوي من هالأمر، بس بعد ستيل تحس إن للحين الناس في تهور في السواقة، خاصة الشباب يعني، سواء كانوا أولاد أو بنات. يعني صارت سواقة تقريبا البنات مشابهة تقريبا سواقة الشباب عليها.
So, as most of you know, speeding and reckless driving is a very common occurrence in Doha these days. Again, I say, in these days and in the old days, driving is because people may want to compete with each other and compete with themselves. Some people may see this as reckless driving, but the people who are actually speeding may view this as a thrill or a competition. And so the more they do it, the better they feel about themselves. So basically what happens is when they try speeding once or twice, they might find it thrill and therefore encourages more of them to do the same. And by doing so, they see themselves as better than the slow drivers and better than those who don't actually do it. Another reason is I think that kids are influenced by video games about speeding, and it has grown onto them, thinking it's okay to speed or that real life car dynamics is just like the video games. And it encourages them to take risks, basically. I see it as a never-ending cycle. However, there might be some solutions. I see the need for more stricter regulations to stop the chaos from occurring. However, as of now, I don't see any kind of specific regulation that would effectively reduce their recklessness. Don't get me wrong, there are efforts being done, but I can't say they're very effective, and I'm not seeing very good results. The speed traps and the police patrols aren't doing a good job, because right now Qataris basically memorize which radars work and which ones don't. So basically they see them as non-existent because they can just speed and just slow down whenever the radar comes up. It's very costly to do, and it's not doing the job very well. Basically the speed regulations will hopefully be effective when a very strict set of rules are applied. Repeated offenders should be deprived of their licenses, but again, you can't take away the right of driving from the population, especially in a country like Qatar, where the main source of transport is basically your car. The punishments that are given out now are not very severe. If you speed up until the speed of 180, all you get is a fine between 500 and a maximum of 1,000 riyals, which is not much, to be honest, especially in a society like Qatar. However, if you exceed the speed limit of 180, you would be called into court for a hearing. But what happens is you just give them a fake excuse for speeding and they just let you go. It's not a very big deal. But if you do it multiple times, yeah, they might basically take your car away from you for a short period of time, which is the same, and basically it goes the same way as the point system, which can be effective, but a lot of people can exploit it. It's actually, I have an experience with a reckless driver. I almost crashed my car because of a reckless driver. The car was behind me, constantly flashing, and when he wanted to merge the right lane, I almost hit another speeding car. Nothing happened to that guy because he just left. I think the way to improve this is to start with ourselves, because you can't just apply mind-blowing fines, as it would be unfair to the careful one-time offenders. I implore the drivers to be careful, as it is dangerous not only to them, but to others as well.
يعني نفس ما تقول انه يوم تشوف حادث يصير قدامك، يعني خاصة حق خويك اللي بالروح اللي تعرفه من الطفولة وتطلع معاه كل يوم، يعني مو بشيء سهل ان تطالع شخص قدامك يتوفى بشكل عام، حتى لو كان من كان يعني، واذا كان شخص عزيز وغالي عليك تأثر نفسيا اكثر. فيعني يوم صار الحادث اطالع بعيني، لكن مش قادر اصدق اللي يصير. عقلي مش راضي يستوعب ان انا حاليا قاعد اشوف رفيجي قاعد يتقلب بالسيارة قدام عيوني. يعني هي كلها غمضة عين اللي صار، يعني مش إن اللي كله بس بغمضة عين وما تدري ايش يصير فيك. فعلى طول صفاتنا ورحنا عند الريال، يعني عند ربعنا اثنيناتهم، والسيارة نفس ما تقول خلاص من قلبه على راسه، ما يمدينا حتى ان نفتح الباب ونطلعهم بالاساس. وواحد من ربعنا اللي كان داخل السيارة يعني خسر نفس ما تقول ريله اليمين اللي تقريبا نصها، واللي كان يسوق الله يرحمه يعني توفى. ويعني يوم تشوف رفيجك يحتضر قدامك، يعني مش بالشيء السهل انك تشوفه، على الاقل تحاول تلقن الشهاده ولا شيء. الريان يعني ما شلون اشرح لكم يعني، بس كت شوي الربع، شوي قطع الربع. فاحنا يعني قاعد نشوف الريال يحتضر قدامنا، يعني نحاول نلقن الشهاده. بعد لما وصل الاسعاف ربك خذ روحه، رفيجنا الثاني ودوه المستشفى وخسر نص ريله. فودي اقول لكم ان ربكم يمهل ولا يهمل، فحاسبه يعني وانت تسوقون. السواقه مش لعبه، هي كلها غمضة عين، تخسر حياتك، تخسر روحك، تخسر اللي معاك. فبشكل عام يعني حتى نفس ما اقول لكم السواقه مش ما فيها استهبال، هذه فيها حياه وموت، يعني نفس ما تشوفون. احنا بس كل اللي سويناه ان استهبلنا عليه، لفينا شوي السياره عليه، قربنا السياره منه، وهو يعني من الارتباك على سرعه 200 انقلب الموتر. يعني حتى وانتم تسوقون لا تقدرون تستهبلون وتمزحون ويا الناس اللي تسوقون وياهم في الشارع. فهي كلها غلطه واحده منك او من اللي معاك وربكم ياخذ روحكم يعني بشكل عام. فحتى وانتم تسوقون لا تقعدون تتجاوزون، لا تقعدون تفلشون حق الناس. خلوا السواقه نفس ما تقولون فن. خلاص اذا احد بيقطعك خله يمر، اعطوه مساحه. اذا هو بيدعم هو على الاقل يدعم، مش انتوا اللي تتأذون. وانتوا تسوقون لا تتهورون، لا تقعدون تشخطون بالعالم، تروحون يمين يسار، دقوا اشاره، لا تقعدون تفلشون حق خلق الله، لان تعمون الواحد يوم تسوون هالطريقه. عادي ان من سبته يسوي حادث اللي قدامكم. حتى عند الاشارات لا تقدرون تستعجلون الناس، يمكن الناس لحين سواقتهم جديده، فيمكن تستعجلونهم ويطلعون في الدواره وفي مكان، وانتم تكونون السبب في انهم اللي يدعمونهم ويستوي لهم حادث. وبعد حتى مهما يعني تاخرت على شغلك على دراستك، تتاخر 5 دقائق ولا تخسر حياتك. يعني هي ما تسوى عليك انك تموت بس عشان تلحق على موعد ب5 دقائق او شيء انك متاخر عليه. انت ما تحس بقيمه الشيء الا لما تصيدك تجربه نفس ما يقولون. يعني هالشيء انه اثر فيني نفسيا وليومك هو معاي، يعني مع انه القصه من قرابه 5 سنوات يعني. ويعني فوق هذا كله انه شنو منظرك قدام امه وابوه، يعني يوم يشوفون ولدهم متوفي وانت تكون جزء من السبب انه هو مات يعني. فمش بالامر السهل، لا عند امه وابوه، لا عند اهله، ولا ان انت حتى خلاص ما تدري ايش تسوي. فاللحظات انت تتعلم تجارب يمكن تفيدك في الدنيا. فلا تعرضون حياتكم او حياة غيركم للخطر وانتم في الشارع. فانتم يوم تهورون انتم ما تاثرون بس على نفسكم، انتم عادي تاثرون على اللي حواليكم من الناس يعني بشكل عام. فعادي انت يمكن تسوق تتجاوز وتدعم شخص ثاني، يمكن يكون رب بيت، يمكن يكونون ناس صغار بالعمر، يمكن يكون شياب. فيوم على الاقل يوم تدعمهم قطعت عن العيله رزقها، انك لو من سبة الحادث اللي انت مسويه الوالد توفى، او انك يوم تدعم يمكن تذبح اليهال اللي داخل السياره. ويعني لا تسكنون نفسي، لا يصير لكم نفس اللي صار ويانا. تعلمت انا بطريقه مؤلمه بشكل عام، يعني تعلمت انا بالطريقه الصعبه نفس ما يقولون، ان انا اضطريت ان اخسر شخص عزيز وغالي علي. فانا اتمنى ان لا تتهورون، لا عشان لا يصيدكم نفس اللي صار لي، لا يصير لكم نفس اللي صار لي.